dost thou grieve? I made the light to shed on thee its splendor. Wherefore dost thou veil thyself therefrom? O Son of the Supreme, I have made death a messenger of joy to thee. Wherefore dost thou grieve? Wherefore dost thou grieve? I made the light to shed on thee its splendor. Wherefore dost thou veil thyself therefrom?
Welcome to the commemoration of the martyrdom of the Bab, a momentous occasion commemorating the multifaceted mission of the Bab, exemplifying his unwavering power, a divine flame bestowed upon him. The first facet of his mission was to rekindle the profound bond of love that connects every human being with their Creator, while the second involved heralding the advent of a new manifestation of God, one who would propel humanity into a new era of existence. This message spread throughout Iran like a wildfire, captivating the hearts and minds of thousands. However, there were those, particularly among the clergy and government, who felt threatened by this message and wielded their power to suppress the Bab's faith. Consequently, he endured banishment, imprisonment, and public humiliation. When the adversaries of his faith realized that their attempts to extinguish this nascent faith were futile, they resorted to a more drastic measure. In July 1850, the Grand Vizier of the Shah of Persia issued the order for the Bab's execution. They could execute the Bab, but the impact of his message could never be silenced.
This is a prayer by the Bab. I beseech thee, O my Lord, by thy most effulgent splendor, before whose brightness every soul humbly boweth down and prostrateth itself in adoration for thy sake, a splendor before whose radiance fire is turned into light, the dead are brought to life, and every difficulty is changed unto ease. I entreat thee by this wondrous splendor, and by the glory of thine exalted sovereignty, O thou who art the Lord of indomitable power, to transform us through thy bounty into that which thou thyself dost possess, and enable us to become fountains of thy light, and graciously vouchsafe unto us that which beseemeth the majesty of thy transcendent dominion. For unto thee have I raised my hands, O Lord, and in thee have I found sheltering support, O Lord. And unto thee have I resigned myself, O Lord, and upon thee have I placed my whole reliance, O Lord. And by thee am I strengthened, O Lord. Verily there is no power nor strength except in thee. Unto thee have I raised my hands, O Lord, and in thee have I found sheltering support, O Lord. And unto thee have I resigned myself, O Lord, and upon thee have I placed my whole reliance, O Lord. Unto thee have I raised my hands, O Lord, and in thee have I found sheltering support, O Lord. And unto thee have I resigned myself, O Lord, and upon thee have I placed my whole reliance, O Lord. And by thee am I strengthened, by thee am I strengthened, by thee am I strengthened, O Lord. And by thee am I strengthened, by thee am I strengthened, by thee am I strengthened, O Lord.
Unto thee have I raised my hands, O Lord, and in thee have I found sheltering support, O Lord. And unto thee have I resigned myself, O Lord, and upon thee have I placed my whole reliance, O Lord. And by thee am I strengthened, by thee am I strengthened, by thee am I strengthened, O Lord. And by thee am I strengthened, by thee am I strengthened, by thee am I strengthened, O Lord. 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 By thee have I strengthened, O Lord.
One remarkable aspect of the martyrdom of the Bab is the story of Anis, a young man who broke free from his father's confinement due to the uproar caused by the Bab's teachings and revelations. Anis sought refuge at the feet of the Bab, fervently pleading to remain by his side. Surrounded by devoted followers, the Bab expressed the desire to be martyred, not by the hands of his enemies, but by the hands of a friend. Though the disciples hesitated, afraid to harm their beloved leader, Anis, filled with unwavering devotion, bravely proclaimed his readiness to carry out the Bab's wishes. Despite the shock and dismay of the group, the Bab assured Anis that he would be united with him. Tragically, thousands of innocent and devoted followers of the Bab had been slaughtered as widespread violence continued to plague the budding faith. As word continued to reach him, even throughout his imprisonment, the Bab, the gate, awaited his execution.
loved ones to be firm, in thy faith, to walk, in thy ways, to be steadfast, in thy cause. Give them thy grace to withstand the onslaught of faith and passion, to follow the light, follow the light of divine guidance. Give them thy grace to follow the light, follow the light of divine guidance. Thou art powerful, the gracious, the self-subsistent, the bestower, the compassionate, the Almighty, the all-bountiful, the all-bountiful, the
On the morning of July 9, 1850, the Bab, accompanied by his secretary and Anis, found themselves in a cell, with the Bab dictating his final message to his secretary. Sam Khan, the commander responsible for executing the order, approached the Bab, consumed by fear and apprehension over the consequences of his action. The Bab reassured him that if his intentions were sincere, God would protect him from the repercussions, giving him the instruction to proceed. As the Bab continued his dictation, a guard arrived to escort him to the execution grounds.
As the Bab continued his dictation, a guard arrived to escort him to the execution grounds. Resolute in his mission, the Bab declared that no earthly power could hinder him until his work was complete. Together with Anis, he was led to the place of execution. Sam Khan commanded his men to affix the ropes to a pillar, suspending the Bab and Anis separately. Anis displayed immense courage, requested to be positioned in a way that his own body would shield that of the Bab. Eventually, with Anis's head resting on the Bab's chest, they were secured. A regiment of soldiers arranged in 3 files, each consisting of 250 men, was instructed to fire in succession until the entire detachment discharged their bullets. O Lord, enable all the peoples of the earth to gain admittance into the paradise of thy faith, so that no created being may remain beyond the bounds of thy good pleasure. From time immemorial, thou hast been potent to do what pleaseth thee, and transcendent above whatsoever thou desirest. The Bab. Upon the firing of 750 muskets, a thick black smoke enveloped the crowd. But when the smoke dissipated, the astonishment was palpable as Anis stood unharmed before them. While the Bab seemed to have disappeared, a frantic search ensued, and the Bab was eventually found back in his cell, resuming his uninterrupted dictation. His countenance radiated sincerity and serenity, and his body emerged unscathed from the hail of bullets. I had finished my conversation with Sayyid Hussein, the Bab informed his attendant. Now you may proceed to fulfill your attention. Stunned by the extraordinary events and recalling the Bab's earlier words, Sam Khan refused to carry out any harm against him. He ordered his regiment to withdraw, and another regiment volunteered, preparing to fire. At that moment, the Bab turned to the crowd, and in a poignant display, he said, "O wayward generation, had you believed in me, every one of you would have followed in the example of this youth, who stood in rank above most of you, and would have willingly sacrificed himself in my path. The day will come when you will have recognized me. That day, I shall have ceased to be with you." Once again, the Bab and Anis are suspended in front of the agitated crowd. Once again, the order was given to fire. Say, God, suffice it, all things above, all things, God, suffice it. All things above, all things, and nothing in the heavens but God suffices. Nothing say, God suffices. All things above, all things, God suffices. sufficeth, and nothing on the earth but God sufficeth.
Of course, that awful execution that July day in Tabriz in Iran was not the end of the story, because you cannot put out God's light. For about 60 years, the Baha'is successfully guarded the Bab's sacred remains until on the first day of spring in 1909, they were laid to rest in the Holy Land on God's holy mountain, the mountain associated with the prophet Elijah, who is also associated with the Bab. Today, you see the magnificent building that has become a beacon of hope to people around the world. And you see a wonderful staircase rising from the bay up to that mausoleum holding the Bab's remains. This is the Avenue of the Kings, where the kings and rulers of the earth will, over the many centuries, go up that stairway to pay homage to that messenger of God who was so brutally executed in 1850. When visiting that sacred site, it is the usual practice to read a very special prayer. It's actually a compilation of several prayers from Baha'u'llah, put together by the great prophet Nabil. And we read this, what we call the Tablet of Visitation, on the anniversaries of the Bab and Baha'u'llah and at their shrines. So at this moment, as we approach the sun at midday, let me read this very special tablet. The praise which hath dawned from thy most august self, and the glory which hath shone forth from thy most effulgent beauty, rest upon thee, O thou who art the manifestation of grandeur, and the King of eternity, and the Lord of all who are in heaven and on earth. I testify that through thee the sovereignty of God and his dominion, and the majesty of God and his grandeur were revealed. And the day stars of ancient splendor have shed their radiance in the heaven of thine irrevocable decree, and the beauty of the unseen has shone forth above the horizon of creation. I testify, moreover, that with but a movement of thy pen, thine injunction, be thou, hath been enforced, and God's hidden secret hath been divulged, and all created things have been called into being, and all the revelations have been sent down. I bear witness, moreover, that through thy beauty The beauty of the adored one hath been unveiled, and through thy face the face of the desired one hath shone forth, and that through a word from thee thou hast decided between all created things, causing them who are devoted to thee to ascend unto the summit of glory, and the infidels to fall into the lowest abyss. I bear witness that he who hath known thee hath known God, and he who hath attained unto thy presence hath attained unto the presence of God. Great, therefore, is the blessedness of him who hath believed in thee and in thy signs, and hath humbled himself before thy sovereignty, and hath been honored with meeting thee, and hath attained the good pleasure of thy will, and circled around thee, and stood before thy throne. Woe betide him that hath transgressed against thee, and hath denied thee, and repudiated thy signs, and gainsaid thy sovereignty, and risen up against thee, and waxed proud before thy face, and hath disputed thy testimonies, and fled from thy rule and thy dominion, and been numbered with the infidels, whose names have been inscribed by the fingers of thy behest upon thy holy tablets. Waft then unto me, O my God and my beloved, from the right hand of thy mercy and thy loving kindness, the holy breaths of thy favors, that they may draw me away from myself and from the world unto the courts of thy nearness and thy presence. Potent art thou to do what pleaseth thee. Thou truly hast been supreme over all things. The remembrance of God and his praise, and the glory of God and his splendor rest upon thee, O thou who art his beauty. I bear witness that the eye of creation hath never gazed upon one wrong like thee. Thou wast immersed all the days of thy life beneath an ocean of tribulations. At one time thou wast in chains and fetters. At another thou wast threatened by the swords of thine enemies. Yet, despite all this, thou didst enjoin upon all men to observe what had been prescribed unto thee by him who is the all-knowing, the all-wise. May my spirit be a sacrifice to the wrongs thou didst suffer, and my soul be a ransom for the adversities thou didst sustain. I beseech God, by thee and by them whose faces have been illumined with the splendors of the light of thy countenance, and who, for love of thee, have observed all whereunto they were bidden, to remove the veils that have come in between thee and thy creatures, and to supply me with the good of this world and the world to come. Thou art in truth the Almighty, the most exalted, the all-glorious, the ever-forgiving, the most compassionate. Bless thou, O Lord my God, the divine lote tree and its leaves and its boughs and its branches and its stems and its offshoots, as long as thy most excellent titles will endure and thy most august attributes will last. Protect it then from the mischief of the aggressor and the host of tyranny. Thou art in truth the Almighty, the most powerful. Bless thou also, O Lord my God, thy servants and thy handmaidens who have attained unto thee. Thou truly art the all-bountiful, whose grace is infinite. No God is there save thee, the ever-forgiving, the most generous.
So at this time, we'd actually like to say a prayer in remembrance of a friend recently lost, far too young. Tony, do you want to say one? I've got. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was just about to ask that too. And if anyone, that actually concludes our program in commemoration. Thank you all for being here. So now we'd like to open it up to 2 prayers, but also include several souls that we have recently lost. Yeah, 3 just from one family and several parents and children.